Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Eric Fields, a specialist in gambling addiction. Today, I am talking about why compulsive gambling is not your real problem. The real problem with compulsive gambling, or any addiction for that matter, is dealing with the time when you are not engaged in the addiction. So, what I'm talking about here is the not gambling problem. Because if you're able to deal with life without compulsively gambling, then you wouldn't have a compulsive gambling problem. And what is one of the main reasons that you became addicted to compulsive gambling? Well, quite simply, I call this the flight problem. This problem is what really led you to be in this destructive pattern. And the flight problem is quite simply this. As human beings, we have what's called a fight or flight response that is a rather automatized response to any kinds of threat. And a threat could be external, something that threatens us that is outside us, right, in our environment, or internal, something that threatens us in our mind. And more than likely, your threat is internal. And to deal with a threat, as I stated, our fight or flight response is going to be activated. And in certain situations, the better response will be to flee and get away from that situation. And in other situations, it will be best to fight. In your situation, you are using the inappropriate response of fleeing, escaping. And so that's what your compulsive gambling is really all about. It's what I call the great escape. And I have been an addiction specialist for many, many years. And I can tell you that, in my professional opinion, there is no better distraction than compulsive gambling as compared to any of the other addictions. When you are engaged or engrossed in this compulsive gambling, you're not thinking about anything else. All addictions have a function. They provide some kind of benefit, for lack of better way of saying it. And so this is the perceived benefit for you, that you're able to escape this internal threat. And you might be wondering, what kind of internal threat would I have? What is going on in my mind that I perceive as threatening? Well, really, the sky's the limit. It could be anything. It could be noxious, unpleasant thoughts. It could be past memories. It could be day-to-day stressors or bigger issues like relationship issues or job issues. It could virtually be anything. It could also be something even more general in terms of just not feeling fulfilled in your life, not feeling so stimulated, like there's a void and you're missing something and you can't figure it out. And so, while this may provide a temporary relief for you, of course, we know that it comes at such a great cost of all the negative consequences, right? So, in order to gain back control, you first have to understand that your main issue with compulsive gambling is the not gambling problem. It's dealing with life without gambling. Many of you, if you really stop and think about living life without gambling, would be rather aghast or appalled to even think of living life and not being able to have this crutch anymore, not being able to have this distraction anymore, because it serves such a vital function for you. Of course, this is all your perception, not necessarily reality. But perception is our reality. And so this is your reality, which is I can't deal with life without compulsively gambling. And why? Because if I'm not distracted by this, then I have to face this internal threat, whatever is going on in your mind that makes you feel crappy or not good about yourself or not good about your life. So, as I stated before, depending on the situation, sometimes it warrants us getting the heck out of there and fling, and other times it warrants dealing with the situation, right? And regardless of if it's an internal or external threat, there are times where it is good to shelve something that's bothering us and temporarily take a break from it, right? But not to do it chronically. You are chronically avoiding and fleeing. And so, what you need to be doing is you need to be confronting whatever internal threats you have. You have to confront it and fight it. And again, when we're talking about fighting it, we're not talking about throwing fists. We're talking about confronting, dealing with it, right? The opposite of fleeing is fighting or confronting or dealing with it, right? The opposite of avoiding is addressing it head on. This is how you get over compulsive gambling. When you're able to no longer have to run from life, run from your life, run from yourself, and you feel equipped to deal with life without gambling. This is Dr. Fields. I'll have more to say about this at a later date. I'm also here to tell you that I have developed a whole approach and solution based off of this idea. And if you're interested in learning all about that, please feel free to reach out to me. Also, if you like this video, if you found it helpful, let me know. Always appreciate comments. I'll have more to say about this at a later date. I wish all of you the best success with overcoming compulsive gambling.